Hey guys, it's Aiden with Upper James Toyota, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at a truck that's going to compete directly with Ford, GMC, and Chevy. It's a 2024 Toyota TRD-PRO Tundra. Let's check it out and see how it works for you. Okay, so the Tundra was first released in 2000, with the prior generation launching in about 2007. Now, since 2007, they've had a couple small little updates, but for 2022 and above, which is the facelifted version on the inside and outside, this is the new one you will be getting. So this looks very, very similar to the first generation of the 2022s, which is the newest current generation for a Tundra. Talking differences between the old generation and the new one, biggest controversial topic is going to be the powertrain. Out goes the 5.7 V8 and in comes the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. So you can actually no longer spec a Tundra with a V8, which is kind of the way that most manufacturers are going. Now, with that being said, this one comes with a hybrid powertrain, which is also a new thing for 2022 and a lot of our top performing vehicles that we offer. Now, looking at this truck from the front end, a couple things you're gonna notice off the bat. This being a TRD-PRO, it is the most off-road capable Tundra that we offer. So you're gonna see TRD-PRO written all over this truck. I'm gonna show you a couple small things where they do show it as well. One interesting thing, there's no logo on the front. They just say Toyota in the biggest letters on the front grille, letting everyone know you are in a new TRD-PRO Tundra, and is the only Tundra that comes standard with this optional grille. Now, one thing you're gonna notice is that there's gonna be LED fog lights on both left and right side of the front grille. Interesting though, you're gonna have this camo trim on the front, on the interior seats, on the fender flares, and on the rear bumper. It's a little touch that Toyota has done to add a little bit of that off-roadiness onto this kind of vehicle. Now, a really, really interesting thing on the Tundras, you're gonna notice on the one side of your fender flares, actually on both sides you're gonna have them, and on the tops of your grille as well, you're gonna have these little orange marker lights. And inside, you're gonna see the first TRD spec or little quirk onto this truck. Now, oddly enough, it's the only Tundra that comes standard with this. The reason that is because the fender flares are so wide on the truck. Under our legal, I guess, needs to say the least, it's so wide you actually need to have orange marker lights on the front and red on the rear, just like the 2024 Ford Raptor. One big thing that a lot of customers love, you can get this on a TRD-PRO Tacoma, and I'm hoping you can get this on the new TRD 4Runner in 25 when they redesign, but you're gonna have this light bar underneath Toyota. Now, it's kind of like to underline a Toyota to kind of let people know you are in a new TRD-PRO. However, I think the looks of this in the nighttime that have, your triple high beam LED headlights, sequential turn signals, the two fog lights on the bottom, as well as your light bar, it really does make this truck look very, very aggressive when all the lights are on. Now, with that being said, the front end of the vehicle actually has a lot of active things for off-roading and for the performance of this vehicle. So you actually have active side vents to cool down your brakes, your engine, your turbos, and as obviously, of course, you're gonna be your tires as well. But I think they've done a very, very cool job on the front end of this, kind of making this look a little bit different than any other Tundras we currently have in our lineup. Now, you'll also notice the hood is very, very large on a TRD-PRO, and you're gonna see these little cutouts on both the left and right side of the hood. Now, it is gonna say TRD-PRO on the side. Typically on this vehicle though, most other Tundras that are gonna have the iForce Max hybrid system will actually have iForce Max on the side. You will not see this written on the outside of the truck at all, only on the inside, which I will show you later on in the video. But I think it's really, really interesting what Toyota has done to really push the TRD-PRO-ness of the new 2024 TRD-PRO. Hey guys, I know you guys are enjoying the video, but please do not forget to like and subscribe so we can become the #1 Toyota YouTube channel on earth. Okay, so now taking a look onto the side and onto the wheel well of the TRD-PRO Tundra. A couple things to note. You're gonna be getting BBS TRD off-road wheels, which I think look incredible on this vehicle. It's not too complicated, but obviously make the truck look a little bit more off-road. Now, a very, very big change from the outgoing generation for the Tundra, now this obviously changed in 2022, is gonna be your suspension. So they had Bilstein shocks in the previous generation. You now have Fox shocks in the new one. So these are gonna give you more stability on the off-road, more stability when you're driving the vehicle or even cornering it, because the performance of this truck really is impressive from a manufacturer like Toyota. Now, looking at the big tires, obviously you have all-terrain tires on this vehicle. You could take these off-road and have no issue there. The cool thing about the Tundra, which I actually think they've done a very, very good job with, is having this camo trim, just like the front, extending onto the side. So this truck can obviously be optioned in different color options. I like having the white though. It's the only color, maybe with the Terra, which is kind of an off red, orange kind of looking color. That one also makes the camo pop a bit more, but I think obviously on the white color of the vehicle, the black accents with the TRD-PRO badging on the hood of the vehicle being black, with the side fender flares being excelled in this camo trim, black wheels, black rock rails. They have done a very, very good job at keeping this looking very, very mean for that next truck driver. Now, another great feature onto the side of a TRD-PRO Tundra. A lot of people ask for running boards on a vehicle like this, and I could see the appeal to have running boards on obviously a full-size pickup truck. However, for a truck you typically would be taking off-road with all the off-road capabilities, they're gonna include something from the factory, which is this big black bar, which is just a rock rail. So basically it's just saying, if you are off-roading, going over, big rocks, boulders, a surface that's not as flat, if, for example, the train came up, it's not gonna damage the actual bed or the bottom of the truck. It's just gonna obviously hit this rock rail, keeping the truck and you very, very safe. Okay, so just like the front of the TRD-PRO Tundra with the orange markers, you're gonna be having the red ones on the rear. So they're gonna be on both of the rear sides and the wheel wells of the vehicle, as well as on the trunk. Now, the cool thing about the trunk on the new TRD-PRO Tundra and most of the Tundras, you're gonna have a very, very easy and accessible power tailgate option, which is right here built into the brake light. You hit this button and the tailgate will actually come down for you. Now, if you've ever driven an old generation or just any previous Tundra, you will typically notice this is a very heavy tailgate. It's very different now and also very, very light. So it's easy to load things in and very easy to obviously close it up when you're loading stuff into your TRD-PRO. Now, a couple things to note though on the TRD-PRO. Typically, trucks are gonna be offered in two different configurations, a short bed and a long bed version. A 5.5 for Toyota or 6.5 is our long bed. TRD-PROs are only offered in a short bed, so 5.5 foot. Now, I understand why they did that, because it's an off-road vehicle. You're gonna have more weight, and obviously a longer vehicle will be harder to off-road in the sense of, your cab's one size and your bed's even longer. So it gives you a bit more practicality for the off-road version of it. But looking at this bed, you're still gonna have a lot of space to be throwing stuff in there. Even if you're not off-roading the vehicle and just wanted a truck that's very focused for that beefy off-road look, but you're still daily driving it, this definitely could be, and it's very practical for an everyday driver. Now, this one has installed hard tunnel cover. That's a direct, genuine factory accessory from Toyota. It can fold back in like 3 stages, which is good to basically keep anything inside locked up and safe. And obviously when it comes to our winters and obviously rainy days, it's good to keep anything dry in the bed of the truck. Now, a couple other things to note on the back of it. You're gonna have the camo trim on the top here by the rear handle, as well as down below here on your rear bumper. The one interesting thing that I noticed when this truck originally released in 2022 was the fact that it's weird that typically on most car manufacturers, you're gonna have Toyota on the back and maybe a badge on the front that tells you what it is. Not this one. They have Toyota in large on the front, a small little Toyota emblem on the actual, power trunk door handle for your tailgate, written in massive, which is into the actual frame of your door latch, is gonna say TRD-PRO, letting everyone know that you are in a new TRD-PRO 24 Tundra. Okay guys, let's take a closer peek onto the inside of a TRD-PRO Tundra. First thing to think about is going to be that you can option this truck in 2 different interior color options. So red, as you're seeing right now, which is called Cockpit Red, and that's also shared in a new Camry, and the outgoing Camry also had the red. You can also get this with a black interior as well. So everything else is still the exact same. It's just the colors have just changed around for the seats. Not typical that you see a pickup truck with a red interior. However, I think it's very, very interesting, especially with the TRD-ness of the TRD-PRO Tundra, is that red is always that common thing and that common color for a TRD. So they have showed a lot of red on the inside. You're gonna have red seatbelts, as you see here, which are just from the factory. Obviously your red seats, red on the dash, and red around this massive Toyota on the side for your passenger. On top of your center console here is going to be red. Your shift knob, red stripe with the red TRD. Your push button is also going to be TRD and will also be red. The red stripe on your steering wheel with TRD on the bottom of the steering wheel. So they have really gone overkill, I think, with a lot of the TRD features on the vehicle, but I think is really, really interesting for a truck that is built for the off-road capabilities like this one has. Now, with the off-roadness of this vehicle, you're actually still getting a lot of great comfort features in this truck. So I think Toyota's done a very, very good job at basically giving consumers a truck that is great for something like the off-road, but also very practical for everyday use. You still have cooled seats, heated seats, a massive 14-inch touch display, a full digital MID in front of the driver, JBL sound system, a panoramic sunroof. You've got all the different off-road crawl control features, multi-train select features as well. So multi-train select and crawl control are basically just like an off-road cruise control, or to get the vehicle unstuck if you're ever in deep mud or snow, which is interesting. Now, talking about mud and snow, for example, down here you have your different drive modes. So typically in a Toyota, you have 3 off the bat. You have Eco, Normal, and Sports. If you actually push MTS on the vehicle, you're gonna actually have basically a feature to use all the different drive modes that this vehicle has for the off-road, which will include deep snow, rock, dirt, mud and sand. So it kind of caters to showing and highlighting the different off-road capabilities with the new shocks, with the new wheels, and the new powertrain, with obviously a very new transmission on this vehicle for anything off-road for a consumer. Now, talking about practicality again on this vehicle, I'm going to be showing the center console on this because they do have a lot of storage on this. So you have your first little flip up here, basically good for if you want to put like a phone, any change, any gift certificates, or like a Tim's card, Starbucks card, something like that, which is just quick and easy to grab. Now, if you pull the handle on my side, you'll be getting a lot more features on the inside of here. And a couple cool things to note. You've got a USB down here, you've got a USB up here, a USB-C lightning port as well in your center console, and a couple little coin holders as well. So you can actually fit different sized coins in there in case you're going through a drive-through or something like that you need a few coins for to park or something of that nature. Now, one really interesting thing, you pull out this little divider on the inside of a Tundra, and you're gonna see on the top, it's gonna say Toyota, and you're actually gonna have 3 cutouts of basically looks like what we have a Tacoma, a 4Runner, and a Tundra. And if you look on the inside of the center console here too, you're gonna have right down here what it looks like a little Tacoma or maybe a little Tundra, and another one down here as well, which is just a little feature that a lot of people do not know comes standard on this truck, and something kind of cool when Toyota released it that I obviously wanted to look around this truck and see all of its, small little, I want to say Easter eggs that this truck kind of has. Looking on the front of the vehicle as well, I think that the layout that they have done, and it's basically standard on all of the Tundras now with this big updated screen and the new tech on the vehicle, which is a very, very big change onto the new generation Tundra. Before, you used to get a 7-inch screen on a Tundra. You now have starting at an 8-inch working all the way up to this vehicle, which is a 14-inch. And you're gonna have a lot of features that the outgoing model just didn't have. That's gonna have, say, a wireless phone charger, 360 camera, all your different camera angles to look into the bed of the truck, small things like that that the consumer still wanted to have in the new generation for a Tundra. And the last thing I want to touch on is going to be the one feature that a lot of people loved in the outgoing Tundra and the 4Runner, which is going to be your power rear glass. So all the windows will go down, your sunroof will open, but the cool thing is that on the rear, you can actually do this and you can actually push down your rear glass. So with that simple button, you now look at the bed of the truck and it's completely open. So if you want extra airflow, they have done a very, very good job, and I'm so happy they have kept this in a new generation Tundra. All right, guys, now taking a closer look into the rear of a new Tundra. So a couple things to note, this being a Crew Max, you're gonna have a lot of space. Now, I left my seat exactly where I was sitting up front, which is where I'd happily be driving this vehicle, and I still have loads of room. I will say I'm just on the top of the actual height of the cab, I guess I could say. But if I kind of slouch down a bit, I am more than comfortable. Obviously, the red continues into the back. Same with these camo seats. Now, they really have done a lot of red on the inside of this. Seeing this truck with a black interior, for example, having the red stitching and the contrast there looks very cool as well. But for the red, it's just something you don't see that often. And I actually think if I were to ever get into a TRD-PRO Tundra, I would option mine with red. I think it does look very, very cool and something that definitely stands out between different competitors on the market currently. Now, a couple things: you pull down your obviously center down here, you're gonna have two cup holders as well in your storage for both of the doors. Now, a couple things to note though: you have two vents here with a little storage area here as well. You're gonna have two charging ports as well and an actual household outlet. You could plug in, say, a laptop charger or something like that if you're on the go and working, which is interesting. Now, other than that, no heated seats, no cooled seats. You would get those in different models of a new Tundra hybrid, like a Capstone or a Platinum. However, this vehicle and the way they built it is for the off-road. So some things on the rear they didn't include, and that's okay. I don't think the consumer will be upset about not having heated rear or cooled seats. You still have the vents, you still have more airflow in the back. So I'm more than fine sitting back here on a nice warm day. Okay guys, so to wrap things up on the new TRD-PRO Tundra, let's go over some figures. So powering this is a 3.5 twin turbo V6. It's be making about 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. Now that's going to be sent through a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is an upgrade from the outgoing 6-speed auto. Now, with this crazy power, you're still going to be getting some very, very good fuel efficiency, averaging a combined about 11.7 liters per 100. Now, talking price point on a 2024 TRD-PRO Tundra, this vehicle comes in at $86,910 as your MSRP, plus obviously your optional fees, freight and PDI, subtotal of taxes, and your dealer charges with licensing. So this is a very, very premium dollar to be spending. And I think Toyota has finally delivered a truck that is going to be giving the consumer that kind of peace of mind, knowing that the dollar they're spending is definitely very, very well worth it in a vehicle like this. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking out this TRD-PRO Tundra video. If you did like this video, please do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss any more of our future Toyota-related content, and we'll check you guys out in the next video.